Hi, Mario. We discussed the importance of intention in religion. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Hi, Robert. Thank you for asking. But you know, why are you asking me? Actually, you know that I'm not religious anymore. So why me? Why me?
Well, you are my discussion partner and nobody else is willing to discuss with me, so I'm stuck with you.
Okay, so I can take a point of view from not religious philosophy, right? If
Sure.
you allow me. So yeah, it's actually very interesting question because when I was raised in Christianity, nobody paid too much, as I remember, nobody paid too much focus or attention to the intention. Of course, it was discussed about our intentions, but it was not fully focused on the right intention. But since I try to indulge myself in other philosophies, I found that Buddhism, we agree that Buddhism is not religion, right? It's more like a philosophy. So it was interesting to see that in Buddha teaching they have like a eightfold path. They call it like a eightfold path, which is their help or their advice how to live the best life and achieve enlightenment. So the second thing in that eightfold path, there are eight points. So the second point is the right intention. Imagine. They call it also the right thought. So that comes after the first aspect. The first aspect is right view or right understanding. So when I started to study that, actually I learned that the thought, actually the way of thinking, the understanding of life and the right intention to live life are very important aspects in Buddhism. So those two things, so the right view and right thought or right intention, are actually described as a wisdom path, or the parts of eightfold path that cultivate wisdom. So I was always like stunned. Why are thoughts and intentions so important in Buddhism? And that is rooted in Buddha's understanding that our thoughts are the forerunner of our actions. Therefore, all what we are is, or what we do, is the result of what we have thought. So it's founded on our thoughts. Once in his teachings, Buddha said, like, if a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, pains follows him, as the wheel follows the foot of the ox that draws the carriage. So Buddha paid quite a lot attention to the right thought or right intention, and he also taught about three kinds of right intention. So he didn't stop just to define that we need to have right intention. He said, like, there are three ways, three kinds. The first is the intention of renunciation, which counters the intention of desire or attachment, because in Buddhism the main problem of our life is attachment to the things, people, whatever. The purpose of the intention of renunciation is to give up of something or let it go. Means give attachment. That doesn't mean that we need to sell all our stuff or whatever, but just not to be attached. Like I loved my cars before, and I felt that all that attachment I was suffering, because if my car was a little bit scratched or whatever, I felt pain. I felt like, oh my God, I was unhappy. My goodness, what a stupid thing. So, yeah, that's I was thinking many times about my younger age, when I didn't know what I know now, and how actually I lived the life of misery. You know, all things that happen around me could influence me and my day. I was unhappy with so many things for the moment, not for all day. So the intention of renunciation is very important to keep the right intention. The second one is the intention of goodwill. That counters the intention of ill will, and nurture or nourish loving kindness. That's very important thing also in Buddhism. They are all very kind people. The Buddha suggested that we need to cultivate loving kindness for all beings without discrimination, without selfish attachment. So I love my wife more than my neighbor, and then I'm kinder to somebody who I like more than somebody else. That loving kindness is also the purpose is to overcome anger, to overcome ill will, hatred, aversion. So all kinds of ill will which could produce misery to us or other people around us. And the third kind of right intention is intention of harmlessness, and that counters the intention of harmfulness. Means there is no way to harm anyone or doing violence to anything or anyone. But not only that this intention of harmlessness requires also compassion. So it's not just about no harm. It's about cultivating sympathy, cultivating willingness to feel the pain of others, maybe to help them. So in that way, Buddha suggested these three kinds of the right intention. And what was very interesting for me, that all that 8 aspects of Eightfold Path, which these are first 2, each step supports every other step. So it's not like a just scattered 8 things to follow, but they are like a chain. If you follow each of them, actually your life improves. Some modern teachers from the East, they suggest some practices how to nurture right intention. They say like you often need to ask yourself one question: are you sure? And they said, ask yourself very often, are you sure? Doubt your thoughts, because wrong perceptions lead to incorrect thinking. If you have some wrong perception about people, about things, about situations around which surround you or us, that often leads to wrong perceptions, and that leads to wrong thinking, and of course intention cannot be right after that. The second thing is ask yourself what I'm doing. What is the purpose of that? The purpose is that we keep with asking ourselves what I'm doing at the moment. This helps us come back to the present moment, to be focused on what we do now, what is our current state of mind, our current action. Do we live out of habit? Do we live on autopilot, which is always rooted in our habits and stereotypes? And that is also a kind of good thing in order to avoid wrong intention. So I find this. With this, I would like to finish, and I like this very universal. It's not connected with any religion. It doesn't offer any gods or whatever as a like a way to live this life. This is purely targeting anyone who wants to think about the thoughts he nourishes, the thoughts he likes and supports in his life, and from which then right actions and right intention can flourish, and actually the life and all our actions go the right way. So I'm sorry if it's too lengthy. It was kind of revelation for me. What is your thought? What Judaism says about right intention?
Well, I do have to agree with you that when I was a Christian, I don't remember anyone focused on intention.
Right? That's so interesting.
The only focus was on accepting Jesus, and nobody really paid any attention to intention, if I remember correctly.
So it's not just my thought, right? My feeling.
No, I don't think it is. I think you're right that nobody paid focus on intention in Christianity. As regards Judaism, the book Seven Gates of Righteous Knowledge by Rabbi Weiner and Dr. Schulman explains that a Gentile's deeds are judged by God mostly, indeed almost completely, in regard to the person's intention, rather than the main focus being upon the specific deed itself. Therefore, in most cases, if a Gentile performs an action without intention, or with an incorrect intention, the action has no positive spiritual value. Since the main obligations of the Noahide Code are logically and morally based, it is by the person's motivating logic and morals that his actions are measured. If his intention is right, the action is judged by God as being good, and otherwise it is not. Maimonides explains in Laws of Kings 8:11 that anyone who accepts upon himself the fulfillment of the 7 Noahide commandments and is precise in their observance is considered one of the pious among the Gentiles and will merit a share in the world to come. He explains the correct intention. This applies only when he accepts them and fulfills them because the Holy One, blessed be He, commanded them in the Torah and informed us through Moses, our teacher, that Noah's descendants had been commanded to fulfill them previously. End quote. Maimonides ends with an explanation of the wrong intention. However, if he fulfills them out of intellectual conviction, he is not a resident alien, nor of the pious among the Gentiles, nor of their wise men. So in Judaism, if you keep the exact same commandments with the different intention, the commandments are the same, but the intention is completely different, or can be completely different, and therefore the outcome is also completely different. Likewise, the Talmud discusses the intention of Cyrus in Tractate Rosh Hashanah 4a. It says, "And if you wish, say, from where do we derive that Cyrus became corrupt? As it is written with regard to the building of the temple, that he issued the following command. Let the house be built with 3 rows of great stones and a row of new timber, and let the expense be paid out of the king's house." Ezra 6:4. Why did he do it in this manner and command that the temple be built with a row of timber? He thought, if the Jews rebel against me, I will burn their temple with fire, and it will be more flammable because of the wood. So this is very fascinating to me. You probably heard that in Jewish history, Cyrus is considered one of the saviors of the Jewish people, right? He allowed the Jewish people to rebuild the temple. However, the Talmud explains that his intention was not great at all, right? So his intention was to burn the temple with fire if the Jews rebel against him. So that's why he wasn't really a savior of the Jewish people, despite his actions, because his intention was corrupt. His intention became corrupt. Likewise, in Judaism, some authorities hold that it is permitted to steal another's idols in order to destroy them. This is the opinion of the Responsa Shavut Yaakov in volume 3, chapter 38. So although Judaism forbids stealing, the intention to destroy idols overrides the prohibition of theft. Similarly, it is permissible in Judaism to publicize the character of an evil person and his evil deeds, so that other people will be warned about him and will take care not to be harmed by him, since the intention is to save others from harm. This is the ruling in the Divine Code by Rabbi Weiner, 2011, page 456. The following quote reminds me of what you shared with regard to Buddhism. And it says, there is no true recognition without thought and contemplation, and true contemplation brings true emotions into the heart and proper intentions for proper actions. So this is the kind of chain of thought, contemplation, emotion, intention, and action which apparently exists in Buddhism as well. And the source is the same book which I cited above, so the Divine Code by Rabbi Weiner. And there are many other examples where the intention is the key in Judaism. If a Gentile wants to do one of the other commandments from the Torah in order to receive a practical benefit, but not as a direct commandment, we do not prevent him from doing so, even according to its correct laws. However, if a Gentile observes any of the Jewish commandments from the Torah as a religious obligation, even if he does so from a desire to receive a spiritual reward, this is forbidden based on the prohibition of adding a commandment, and there is no spiritual reward to be derived from this. Again, the same commandment, but different intention. And finally, we can give the example of if the intention is to celebrate Christmas as a secular holiday and do kindness for your friends and family, this is permitted. If the intention is to celebrate Christmas in order to worship Jesus, that is forbidden in the eyes of Judaism.
Yeah, I can tell that what this all studying of other philosophies and insights in their way of thinking and things, how live the best of yourself, what helped me to become integrated, to become one. I don't need to think left of right or this or that. If you just follow some time this train of thought and you are on the right path, you just live as an integrated human being. So I think that is the purpose is to be integrated one of yourself, not divided in religious one or secular one, or as you said, celebrating Christmas for some other reasons, which is maybe from your past or whatever, that is all divided. So I believe that people should live one life with one thought, with one action, and always start from the best of themselves.
Well, I think that the Jewish focus on intention is beautiful because it kind of refutes the argument that God is cruel and that he only, seeks the slightest mistake you make in order to punish you. That's not true, right? So God really considers your intention, and he will not punish you if your intention is pure and good. So I think this kind of beautifies and humanizes Judaism quite a bit.
Yes, I believe the integrity of human being is today in danger with all this social media and new ways of thinking. So I think in Judaism and the same in Buddhism, we should pay attention to study maybe again all those scriptures which are beautifully helpful to keep us on track. I believe so. Not maybe in my age, because I'm already formed, and I'm happy that I found this kind of wisdom even in the Far East. It doesn't matter if it helps you to live the integrated life of integral human being. Anyway,
well, social media is a tool. If you use it with wrong intentions, you can destroy the world with it. That's how powerful it is. But if your intention is good, you can do some good with it, and hopefully you and I use social media to promote good.
Definitely. Our intentions are, I think, clear and very simple.
Okay, Mario, thank you for your intentions and your thoughts.
Thank you too. It was pleasure to join two worlds in actually the same the same result and very similar thoughts.
Yes, I agree. And we are godless Judaism.
We discuss atheism, religion, and everything else.